Please leave me be. I'm not long for this world. I just looked at death in the face. It's only a matter of time before he comes for me, just like he came for that poor woman. Redrod is clearly traumatized. Perhaps if you were to soothe him, he might remain calm long enough to hold a conversation. Here we go. You're right. It's not as bad as it seems. I saw something terrible, that's true. But that hardly means I'm going to suffer the same fate. Thanks to you, I can think straight again. I believe I can even recount what I saw without losing it. It was just another ordinary day. I was heading back to the float when I noticed a suspicious character in the distance. A masked man garbed head to toe in black. He had a hideous fiend in tow, a winged creature that was all eyeball and jagged teeth. Taken by curiosity, I crept nearer as I dared. To see the corpse of a woman. One glimpse was enough to tell me she died a gruesome death. In that instant, I knew right away the masked man was a minion of Thal, come to claim her soul for his realm. What? You're investigating the same masked man? If that's the case, we'll help you in whatever way we can. Aye, anything to ensure that we won't have to suffer Medrod's hysteria ever again. Alright, teamwork. That's what I wanted to. Wait, I haven't been that bad, have I? Have I? At any rate, I'm all for helping this adventure. At least I could do to repay him for comforting me. Alrighty. Alrighty. This is so ridiculous. Here's what I know about the deaths. All the victims were found with their faces torn to shreds. Among the local fauna, only the scalekin, known as Ziz, could inflict such wounds. That's why some folk are pointing a finger at them. I somehow doubt that answer is that simple. But for the sake of thoroughness, we would look into it. Why don't you put down, say, 3 of these creatures and see if you can find any proof connecting them to the deaths. Alrighty then. Time to pick up some lizards. Alrighty. You already seen to the Ziz? Good work, adventurer. So, were you able to ought to suggest that the creature were our culprits? Nothing? Truth be told, even if there were proof, I wouldn't know what it looked like. Anyway, I believe we can safely strike Ziz from our list of suspects, which leaves us the masked man with his winged eyeball. Alrighty. Seeing winged eye to winged eye. There is something you should know. I've been keeping this to myself, lest worsen Medrod's paranoia. But I too have seen this winged eyeball. I cannot say whether it was coincidence, but my sighting took place precisely the same time as Medrod's. I was heading home that day after digging when a shadow fell over me. Looking up, I found myself locked in a gaze with a giant eyeball. I let out a scream at the top of my lungs and ran without looking back. This happened at the rocky area west of here, in case you had a mind to investigate. And Rock of Rancor. There's something else I've heard about the deaths. It appears all the victims have been comely maidens. I better watch myself. Seemingly, Japes aside, there's a rumor been going around. There is at least as whisper that each of the victims died. Their rancor went to the great big rock southwest of here, causing it to flash and moan. This bears investigating, I reckon. I'm going to give you a fire sand stick to blow off a piece of that crag. The stick doesn't come with the fuse or anything, so you have to throw the thing. Once you've torn the rock, a new one, bring back some fragments and I'll give them a gander. Okay. That's different. Yeah. Little pipe smoker. That's different. Good. Yes, Doexis, a winged eye does sound that bad. Let's see here. Yeah, but there's creatures in D&D I'm sure that are a little scarier than that. Like a beholder. I do not want to mess with a beholder. Here. Cat cam activate. Haha. Little napping cat. Got Grub taking it easy right there. Alrighty. Most folk are too scared to go within 100 yalms of the Rock of Rancor. It has a name. But what's a few vengeful spirits to a dauntless adventurer like you, eh? Bigger than a shard, not quite large enough to be a cluster. The energies emitted with this crystal lightly tingle in the hands of who hold it. Yep. Huh? But these are just your garden variety crystals. This is a bit hard to tell beneath all the dirt and crime, but there are definitely lightning aspected. I almost hate to say it, but that explains the flashing and moaning. Nothing to do with a masked stranger. Looks like I've gone and wasted both your time and a perfectly good fire stick. Oh well. Yeah. We can tell what she thinks is a good use of time. Nice little bubble blower. A monstrous banemite appeared, and you slew it? That creature had long been a scourge of the folk of Fallgourd. Intentional or no, you have done us a great service. You have my gratitude. This does make me wonder. Was it truly a winged eyeball I saw, or merely a trick of light combined with blind panic? We shall see. Oh my goodness. Nice eyeball. Here we go. There have been no promising leads in the murders. I can scarce get a good wink of sleep, knowing that the killer is still at large. Judging by your furrowed brows, I take it this sorry business troubles you as much as it does me. I've been pondering my encounter. I was uncertain for a time, but there can be no doubt. It was a winged eyeball that I witnessed. It's implausible that I could have mistaken so distinct a creature for a banemite. But you and I were moms apart. How could we both have seen it at precisely the same time? What's more, our adventure friend here had a run-in with the banemite at the very spot you claim to see the fiendish eyeball. Isn't that right? There must be an explanation. I know I saw an eyeball with wings and would wager an apple tart on it. Oh, he's serious. But listen, mayhap it not as mysterious as we're making it out to be. There's no reason why there couldn't be. Gods, of course. There must be more than one of those buggers. Ugh, it's so obvious. But then that means, since there have been repeated sightings of these fiends, there must be even more victims yet undiscovered. Uh-oh. No. Go. No. And they immediately look to me. I believe we're out of our depth. We ought to leave the rest to the expert. Yes, we're just civilians after all. Good luck, adventurer. It was a pleasure knowing you. Oh, I'm gonna die. Nah. While I burn to know the truth, yet some things are best left unknown. Lest you have forgotten, it was in the rocky area to the west I had my encounter. Should you discover Autumn Note, you will want to alert the authorities. There is a guardhouse nearby. The serpents there should be pleased for any information regarding the security of the region. Here we go. Let's see here. Ethelmare. Greetings, adventurer. Is thought I might assist you with? Here you go. The body of this poor soul has been defiled in more ways than one. Oh boy. Oh boy. That. Well. True. True. Here we go. Gods be good. Not again. No matter how many bodies I've seen, I cannot seem to get used to the horrid sight. Poor woman. Identical deaths have been reported in the Central Shroud, while the masked stranger you seek does not seem to feature in any. Sightings of the winged eyeball are common enough. The creature appears to be moving the bodies, but to what end, none can say. Victims have all been young women, all were found with their faces mutilated beyond recognition. It's been difficult to identify them, as to notify their next of. This button engraved with a lily motif. The very same object was found upon another victim, a family sigil, or that of an organization, perhaps. Either way, I dare to hope this will find more pivotal in solving the murders. Maybe. Could be their calling card. Mount speed in the North Shroud increased. I would have you hold onto the lily button. You'll need it to continue your investigation. While it isn't standard protocol to entrust key evidence to individuals, you have proven yourself reliable and resourceful in this matter. See no reason why you shouldn't carry on your work. If I might make a suggestion, you may wish to take the button to Gridania and have it examined by Mione. Mayhaps someone in her vast network of contacts can shed some light upon the sigil. Alrighty. Back to Mother Mione. Evening to you, Kalanu. By your grim expression, I suspect you aren't here for scones and herbal tea. No. Ivory button with a lily sigil. Oh boy. Well, isn't this a lovely little button? The engraving is quite exquisite. Artisan level quality, I would say. Where did you say you found this? On a dead body? Lovely. Anyway, I'm afraid I do not recognize the lily sigil. You'll have to find the answer the old-fashioned way by asking around. You could do worse than beginning with Bernadette over by the Aetherite Plaza. She has a sharp pair of eyes, that one. Is your name Pip? Pip Bernadette? Are you looking for a police girl? Okay, seriously. Need help tracking down the owner of a button? That's certainly not a request I receive on a regular basis. Well, go on then, show me what you have. Here's the button. Seems to be some matter of decorative button, reminiscent of those worn by families of old. Though I cannot claim to know the sigil, however I can say with certainty that the white lily is a recurring theme in Gridanian culture. Last, I do not know what to make a personal sigil of it. There is a soul in Gridania who does. It would be Sangulid, over at the Lancers Guild. The woman makes a point of knowing all the citizens on a four-name basis. Seangould. I need to find out how that name's pronounced. Somehow it still works for a vampire. A vampire? How so? Bernadette believes I can help you? Well, that is a rather bold assumption to make. I'll try to assist. Never you fear, but whether aught comes of it is another matter. Well then, what do you require of me? Here is a button. Know anyone that likes it? Vampire in red with shades. Ah. That's right. I was making that joke. Fascinating. Work of this quality is rarely seen in the hands of ordinary Gridanians. The owner of this button is most certainly well-to-do, and may wish to make your search to the Gentry's ward northwest of here. Wait, a memory comes to me. Of late there has been a man who is perpetually seated at the bench by the ward's entrance. His name is Ursendel, and I distinctly recalling seeing a markedly similar button upon the rest of his jacket. Dare say he could tell you a thing or two about it. Alrighty. I doubt you. I doubt you again. Okay, that's interesting. I do not believe we are acquainted. Pray, leave me to my thoughts. I got a button for you. I believe it's yours. You murder... Sigil of the D'Artencourt family? How is that you came to be in the possession of this button? From the body of a murdered woman, her face, it was marred in any way? I feared as much. I can no longer feign ignorance. I shall reveal to you the truth of the deaths, but on one condition. You promise to put an end to my lady's madness and free her from her torment. Okay. Does she know the murderer? Skeletons in her closet. Ooh boy. Here we go. I was once a manservant in the employ of one of the oldest and proudest families of Gridania, the D'Artencourt. During that time I had the honor of waiting upon Lady Armandine, mistress of the household. Fair as summer was she, and possessed a heart befitting her radiance. Alas, the calamity wrought a great change in her. Though my lady escaped with her life, death may have well been a kinder fate. Never will I forget the day her bandages were removed. She beheld her disfigured face for the first time. At that moment, the calling woman I knew ceased to be. Unable to bear the thought of being seen, my lady sequestered herself within her chambers and refused all company. This continued for many uneasy moons, until one day, without warning, she began receiving queer guests. None among us knew whence they came, these masked men, but my lady believed that they would help her regain that she had lost, so she began the rites of rejuvenation. Oh boy. That reminds me of back in Diablo 2, the woman who bathed in the blood of virgins to keep her beauty. These rituals seemed innocent enough in the beginning, but grew ever more grotesque as time went by. Eventually, the day came when my lady bound one of her handymaidens to the bed and proceeded to mutilate the poor girl's face. Suffice to say, she did not survive the ordeal. It fell to me to dispose of her body. Performed the dreadful task as she bade, being the servant that I was, but when the time came to return to the house, my legs refused to move. I knew then that I could not go back to the place, not after the nightmare I had witnessed. So it was that I left Hauke Manor, my home, for nigh half a century. Long did I weep for the girl who was slain, and longer still for the woman that Lady Amandine had been. Yet one cannot weep forever, and I endeavored to put the matter behind me, and I resolved to never speak of my experience until you appeared before me. Alrighty. That was just a prank call. Well, not a prank call, machine. My lady's madness must be ended, lest more innocent lives be lost. Lay her tormented soul to rest, as you swore to me you would. She awaits you at Hauke Manor, on the western edge of Central Shroud. Go now, and do what must be done. Give the man some head pats. He needs head pats. It looks like we're about to meet a vampire.